Welcome to Winners, Wallets, and Worldviews, the only show that's going to teach you how to be somebody.
Where in your life did you learn that you're not good enough?
Take what you're most passionate about and what you're most fearful of, and what is the plan to overcome that fear, and what is the plan to enact that passion.
All right, everybody, welcome to Winners, Wallets, and Worldviews. I'm your host, AJ Armstrong. You can follow me on Instagram at AaronArmstrong33. That's Aaron Armstrong33. Now, today we got a lot of stuff to talk about. And one of these things, I don't know if you guys run into this, but when I first was kind of getting involved on Instagram and checking out social media, I was just using it like any other person normally would. I would follow my favorite athlete, I'd follow my favorite movie star, I'd follow my favorite singers, all that kind of crap. And I would spend my days just kind of looking at their lifestyle and checking out pretty pictures and whatnot. And then I started to figure out what a waste of time it was. And then I started getting less involved in Instagram. And then I started to realize it as a tool for marketing potential, right? So you have, what's cool about Instagram is you can also get a chance to deliver value. And that's kind of been my marketing philosophy is I virtually do no outbound sales calls. I do almost exclusively inbound marketing. What that is inbound marketing is when you just kind of put your stuff out there, you make it as available and as, transparent as possible with people. When they reach out to you, they basically all they care about is what the price is, and then they just want to work with you. And I just think that's the most authentic way to do it. That's the best way to do marketing, and that's coming from the principle of value-added marketing. It's about how do you create as much value as you humanly can so that people want to reach out to you and find that value. Okay, so that's kind of been my marketing philosophy, and I started to get out on Instagram like, well, how do I at least serve more people? Because I was doing a lot with our community. I was doing a lot, investing in real estate and I was doing a lot of good work with the community. But what happened was I was like, how do I leverage this? And that's kind of when I started to figure out, oh, cool, Instagram, I can share motivational quotes. And that's kind of like a self-therapy in a way. Like, you look at your Instagram account, you can see these cool quotes, but then what was happening was people were finding a lot of value with the quotes in the story and sharing that. And that kind of blew up into being a platform where I could share my insights or my opinions on things. And, you guys who know me or listen to me, I'm a big, don't just listen to me, listen to everybody. Put opinions against each other. Don't just take one person's word for it. And there's just so much data out there that it's almost impossible to just formulate your own opinion, right? I mean, it's like everybody's got an opinion. Everybody's this, everybody's that. And as I started to, put more positive, motivational, fitness kind of stuff out there into the Instagram space, all these algorithms were shifting. And what Instagram and Facebook do is they basically try to wall you into a certain demographic so that they keep like-minded people thinking like-minded. So in the case that I was putting out positive motivational content, I was getting a lot of positive motivational content too. And then I started to notice, life coaches and, all these people that were in that space. It was like all I was seeing on Instagram. Basically, that was it. So when I started working with my old coach, I don't know what that was, about a year. Oh shoot, that was probably 3 years ago already. So when I was working with my old coach 3 years ago, I don't even know how you could find a life coach. I was just like, what, those exist? It didn't even occur to me that it was a thing. Here I am, flash forward to today. That's the only people in my newsfeed are life coaches. I mean, I'm telling you, I'm like, holy crap. I'm like, is that just all there is? And I got to take a step back and realize. If you guys hear jets going over us, by the way, we had this really big air festival. Before I finish this, there was this really big air festival in our town. It's called EAA. It's Experimental Air Adventure. And I made a post the other day. I was like, yeah, it looks like UFOs during the night flying and stuff. But if you hear a bunch of F-22s going over our head, we're not getting bombed. We don't live by Air Force Base. It's just a show that's going on in our area. Back to what I was saying, there's a lot of these life coaches that seem to come on. And, in this place that I didn't even realize that this was a thing, people actually do this, it very quickly became the only thing that was populating into my newsfeed. So I thought that was interesting. And obviously, as I got into the coaching space, for those of you guys that kind of know my story, I was a real estate investor. I was a really conservative investor my whole life. When I was 16 years old, I started investing all the money that I had. I knew that's when I I didn't know who Dave Ramsey was at the time per se, but I knew that philosophy was kind of part of my upbringing, and that's kind of how I was trained to raise money. When I was 18, I started actually investing all of my monthly stipends from West Point, and I was at prep school when I was 18. I started investing all that money, and then you would get all these like random sums of money in the military. You get stuff for moving allowances and all this other crap, even when you were at prep school in West Point. So I would just take that. I was like, really good at investing. I just loved the game. And I was doing it in bonds and stocks, and I was just doing a lot of different mutual funds and moving stuff around. And I got really good at learning how to make money in the market, because that's what I would spend my free time doing. I would just watch the market, and I would, start cashing in and making money. Well, as I started doing that, it kind of rolled into when I graduated West Point, and what West Point does is it gives you a loan. That's a liability, but it was $37,000 with almost no interest. It was 0.7% interest. So, I'm not sure where you guys are in your financial lives, but there's a philosophy in the community of accounting. And one of the philosophies is that all debt is bad. So if you guys listen to Dave Ramsey, he is a firm believer that all debt is bad. Now, for those of you guys that understand the kind of theory of accounting, you can use debt to your advantage. You can use it as leverage. So in this case, if you take I took a loan for $37,000, 0.7% interest, I knew that I could put that in a very conservative investment, virtually a savings account that would probably make more money than the 0.7% interest that I was being charged. So in that case, it made more sense to take out that cash up front. And obviously I took that and invested that, and just, I think I did like 4 or 5 times what that ended up being. But that's because I took out that loan. So, the reason that Dave Ramsey, I'm a big listener of Dave, I love him. I think he really, really, he's really a role model to me in my life, and what I believe the principles of investing look like. And if you guys don't know who he is, go check him out. He's got a great podcast, puts out tons of content, really established in this space and personal finance. But he helps out people that have been caught in a pattern of behavior that they've took on the wrong types of debt, and it's burned them. And it's just like, look, for the sake of conversation, just keep all that debt out of your life so that you don't have to use it to control you. So at some level, I do agree with that. But at least in this case, I wanted to be able to leverage my financial situation so I could make more money. So that's just the philosophy that I took on. So I'm not a believer that necessarily all debt is bad per se. I think you can use it to your advantage. I'll share a couple strategies of how I did that. But that's one of them. So I took this money. I got really good at investing. When I was in the military, my wife and I, we actually had roommates while we were, engaged. And we were living with another married couple because that's how serious we were about saving money. Like everybody else in the world, they're like, okay, once you kind of move in with your significant other, it's time to kind of grow up. And no, when we were in the military, we were living with another couple. And I always was like, look, the biggest expense you have is your living expense. So if you can start to figure out ways of minimizing that, and you can humble yourself to living that way, that's going to be the best experience for your financial situation. So that's what we did. And I just super below my means, like just stacking up cash. So obviously when I got out of the military, I had a huge portfolio of investments that I was able to use in different business ventures. And one of them is when we started dipping into real estate. And that's really what kind of catapulted us exponentially into a position where we were financially independent in our mid-20s. And the reason I say that is because it wasn't until that point in time that I decided to share tips about wealth building. Mind you, I was a high-paid corporate engineer, right? So I'm a high-paid corporate engineer at this time, making 6 figures plus as well. That's just not so. So a lot of these guys, they get all angry about, oh yeah, you're just working a corporate job, a corporate this, corporate that. It's like, well, would you rather be an entrepreneur making $15,000 a year and things just so you can say that you're an entrepreneur, or are you going to do something that's equally as meaningful or valuable in the marketplace that's making 6 figures? It's just like, you got to really think about what type of school of thought are you getting into. It's like, just take a step back from all of the noise about what other people think of you. You want to be able to call yourself an entrepreneur, or you want to put entrepreneur in your bio or whatever, all that kind of crap. And it's just like, start thinking about, what is the strategy here? What are you trying to do with your life? The more focused you can get, you can stop giving a flying shit what everybody else really thinks. So if you have a corporate job that's making good money that you fundamentally enjoy and you want to make more money, we'll figure out different strategies of how we can do that. Where's the extra time in your day that you can start to budget towards some type of entrepreneurial venture? Or how do you start to put more energy into what you're doing so you can start climbing that corporate ladder in that career? Both of those are totally viable options. And it just happens to be people that think very entrepreneurial-like tend to reach out to me and listen to this podcast. So that's great. But that's what I was kind of getting at, was like that. At that point in time in my life is when I started going on this podcast, sharing different ideas or tips or ideas of success, because I had just been voraciously reading personal growth and development, personal finance books from basically when I was 22 until, I was 25. And it was just like, that was where I was like, there's just so much here that I've learned that I was able to apply that I should start sharing it with people. And that's kind of what led me into the position that I started doing the podcast with. It was back in like 2018 or whatever that was, January 2018. So that's when I first started even talking about the idea of coaching. Was I've done all this, I've made a big pile of money. I've established the fact that I can coach people by working with individuals in the Army. I wrote a really nice Facebook post about this not too long ago, about how when I was in the military, my first 3 weeks, guys, as a platoon leader. So I got to my unit, and when I was a platoon leader, you're in charge of like 40 people right off the bat because I was an officer. So the first 3 weeks, I had 3 attempted suicides that I needed to talk to people individually about what's going on in their life. I'm like, what qualifies me to do this? I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a counselor. I'm not a therapist. I am none of those things. But all I was that individual that was there to talk to some of these people that were having issues. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm a freaking coach. I'm helping these people walk through their lives. That was my first introduction. I'm 23 years old at this time. That was my first introduction to realize you don't have to have the perfect background, the perfect this, the perfect that. You just got to be that person in somebody else's life sometimes to help them turn things around. So that was the experience I got. Then not a couple of weeks later, I had a soldier that was muling cocaine. So he was working for the cartel, hauling cocaine. Yeah, caught with a brick of cocaine in his car. We had to deal with that issue. Another person was having extensive amounts of brain surgery. And she was like going through all these crazy surgeries all over the place, causing manic depression, all this different stuff. It was just a ridiculous, circumstance for her that she had to deal with. And I'm the guy. I was the one that had to help them walk through that. It wasn't, your family's not around. Your friends aren't around. The military and the Army has resources for those people. They got those resources, but you're the one that's there all day working with these people and helping lead them, coach them, mentor them. And very quickly I found out, like, this is the best part of the job. Not to, obviously not for them that's going through these terrible circumstances, but it was the most inspirational and most meaningful and the most fulfilling part of the job, was knowing that you had some type of, stake in their lives and help them from these rock bottom situations and help them grow. And I thought that was just, it woke me up. It just completely woke me up. 3 weeks, 3 suicide attempts. You're the guy talking to them. You're talking them off the cliff. I'm like, dude, I was a systems engineer. I don't know shit about talking to people. Well, you got to figure it out, and you got to get there. And then I was able to mentor other people too. I was able to grow some of the best soldiers. I was able to grow. One of them just a couple months ago asked me for a letter of recommendation because he's going to be a deputy in the sheriff's department in his local community somewhere in Texas. And he's like, hey, I need just a kick-ass letter of recommendation. He's like, with you, your background, everything about you. He's like, I need it from you. I said, okay, let's do it. He came from a really troubled family. He came from a totally broken situation, poverty, crime, all this stuff. And now here he is, a person of law enforcement. And I was a part of his life. Now, he did all this stuff, but I was able to be that mentor for him, right? So all these types of things, led up to this experience to where I decided, look, I have these different life experiences that kind of happen very condensed, like right there. It's such a dense amount of life experience, between all these leadership seminars we had to go to at West Point. Every day there was an hour of the day called Dean's Hour or Commandant's Hour. And those were reserved for bringing in experts in leadership or some type of academic expert for you to listen to. And that, I'm telling you guys, when we were there, we got sick of it, but people pay thousands and thousands, tens of thousands, or hundreds of thousands of dollars to hear some of the people that came in there. Mike Krzyzewski, Antonin Scalia, Alex Sikorsky, Vinny Viola, just crazy, like Colin Powell, I can't even name the people that came in there. 5-star generals, 4-star generals, 3-star generals, secretaries of defense, secretaries of blah, 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 blah. It was just nuts, like just very, very established industry-leading individuals they would bring in to share with us leadership principles, principles of success, principles for dominating the world. That was my upbringing, okay? That's what I did for 4 years when I was at the academy. Academic rigor, leadership rigor, military rigor. Anybody that graduated from the academy got that experience. That's not just me, but that's everybody that got that, right? So there's tons of people that decided to apply it, that decided to pay attention, that decided not to sleep during dean's hour or commandant's hour. When people decided not to skip, right? People that took notes and actually paid attention. That's a totally different side of things. But hey, we were making the same amount of money, and other people decided to go blow it on freaking food or on going out to the city or drinking or all sorts of other crap. And I decided I was going to invest most of my money. So that's just what I did. And I decided I was going to invest in my education, understand it. That's just what I did. Now, I was really rebellious because I hated rules at the academy. That was one of my things. But hey, this is just kind of part of the experience. Well, that was all happening before I decided to talk about being a coach. I didn't say shit about being a coach until that happened. So I built up a very, very financially independent circumstance for my life. I'd gone through tons of education from some of the most powerful and important and intelligent and articulate and brilliant men and women in the entire country. I'd taken tons of notes, studied it. I applied it in the military. I applied it in a corporate setting. And I applied it in the business world. Then I decided I was going to start talking to people about it. So when I'm going through Instagram and I'm scrolling through, I see just tons of these people. I can teach you how to make money. I can teach you how to make money. I'll teach you how to take my course on how to teach you how to make money. Teach you how to make money. Teach you how to make blah, 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 blah. It's so freaking crazy how many damn people are out there teaching how to make money. And every time you research a little bit about these people, if, first of all, they make money, it's by teaching other people how to make money. This is all they do. This is their full-time job, is just to teach people how to make money by making money, by making money. It's like a fucking pyramid scheme of freaking money-making coaches. And they're like, we're going to coach people. And then you sign up for their program, and their program is like, here's what you're going to do, guys. You're going to go coach people on how to make money. And then they're like, oh, sick. And then they go coach people on how to make money. They go out to coach people. And then what it's doing is it's not only saturating the marketplace, but there's never been a legitimate skill that you can start to take. So if you guys are like me, it feels weird telling people, hey, I can teach you how to make money if you don't have a legitimate tactical skill to do it, right? So that's the worst, is when you start working with a coach and they're just like, okay, here's what we're going to do. You're a coach. We're going to just make you a coach too. That's what we're going to do. Guys, most life coaches, that's the fucking advice they're going to give you. They're going to say, hey, you hired me as a coach. I think you'd be a good coach. Oh, really? I'd be a good coach? Yeah. And then you'd be a good coach. And then you'd be a good coach. And then it's just a fucking pyramid scheme. It's like not a lot of life coaches have a breadth of understanding to know, you'd be a really great engineer. Oh, you'd be a really great nurse. Oh, you'd be really great at starting some type of IT venture. Oh, you'd be really good at government contracts. Oh, you'd be really good at real estate. Oh, you'd be really good at this specific function of real estate. You'd be a great venture capitalist. You'd be a great filmmaker. Nobody's looking at what your individual gift is, customizing it, and helping you build a strategy, because they don't know it. They just know how to sell courses on how to make money. And it's fucking disgusting. And they're freaking 23, 24-year-olds. And hey, I was there. I was 25 when I started coaching, right? I was there. I started talking to people about it. But I had done some shit before 25. I had built up a lot of money before I was 25. I had invested in real estate. I'd started businesses. I had a lot of business acumen from being a high-paid corporate engineer. You guys forget, Just because you have a job doesn't mean you're losing skills in a corporate environment. There's tons of great skills in a corporate, like learn how HR works, learn how IT works, learn how the leadership works, learn the management training, learn what you would do in a management circumstance, learn how to lead organizations and change, learn about how to do process improvement, learn how to automate things, learn how to have conversations in meetings without having to be right, learn how to guide a meeting, learn how to facilitate conversation. That's a lot of good fucking stuff that corporate people get in their jobs. Don't just blow that up. Just because someone has a corporate job doesn't mean they don't know what they're doing. They're brilliant. They're paid their market value. If they're making $80,000 a year and your entrepreneurship venture makes $30,000 a year, the market is telling them that they are worth more than you, that they may know more than you. That might not always be the case. That's what the market's telling them. The market doesn't lie. So I'm just saying all this stuff for you guys because, look, there's so many coaches out there that are going to be sitting there telling you how to make money, and it's just bullshit. It just pisses me off. Now, I'm not telling you to sign up with me or do anything else. I'm just telling you, look at what people have done. I mean, shit, I'm freaking 27 years old, man. There's so many people out there who have done more shit than I have. Like, Gary Vee has the right to shit all over me. I haven't done shit compared to him. Ed Milet can shit all over me. Grant Cardone can shit all over me. Those guys haven't done shit compared to them. But I've done a lot of shit compared to other 27-year-olds. Way more shit than most 27-year-olds. So if you're looking for someone that's young, that's done it, that you want to be wealthy before you're 30, you want to be able to establish something before you're 30, you want to start a business before you're 30, that you want to do some cool shit while you're young, where you can enjoy it, while you're healthy, while you're not married, while you're tied down with kids, all this bullshit, then yeah, find someone that's done it when they were young. Figure out what they did. That's the kind of thing. And it's not just about putting fucking entrepreneur in your bio. Now, here's the thing about that, by the way. Well, I'm going to talk about that, because I said that negatively twice now. People with entrepreneur in their bio. So, I saw this dude who, you guys probably know him. I don't fucking follow comedians or shit. I think they're funny when they show up on my newsfeed and I laugh at them, but I don't memorize a lot of them. Except for Jim Gaffigan. That guy's fucking awesome. Jim Gaffigan is a trip, man. Love that dude. But he did this whole skit, and it was kind of funny on people with entrepreneur in their bio. I got tagged by 80 people for not 80, it was probably 10. 10 people tagged me in this guy's thing. And first of all, I'd like to just put something on the record. I have never once put entrepreneur in my Instagram bio. Okay, so first of all, that's just never happened. Okay. But here's the thing. People with entrepreneur in their bio, it's not that they're doing something bad. They make fun of them, oh yeah, I'll put entrepreneur in my bio, entrepreneur. It's let them fucking go, man. Let them try some shit out. Because every one of the people that tagged me in that, each one of my businesses, exclusive of each other, makes more money than they make full time. It's just fucking hilarious. Oh, yeah, here's AJ going up there talking. It's usually with my close friends, people that, they don't understand, or they went to high school with, or they just, they're like, oh yeah, fucking AJ, it's whatever. It's not the people that, I've grown to support and show, my business partners or people that mentored me, right? Those aren't the people that were commenting. It was the people in high school that just barely fucking knew you, that wanted to shit all over you, and they're just oh yeah, AJ, what does he know on Facebook and all this bullshit? It's well, I just told you all the shit that I know, and if you listen for a second, I'll tell you a lot more shit that I know that can help. And here's the thing: people with entrepreneur in their bio, he's yeah, that's fucking. I've never done that shit. First of all, second of all, every one of my fucking businesses makes more money than you do. Okay, every one of them, and some of them don't make that much money, to me at least, right? It's just fucking hilarious, these people that are just they just have to belittle you. They have to pull you down. They have to do all this shit. It's just because it justifies to them why they can't be an entrepreneur, when they're not going out there on social media and talking. It's fuck, dude, go out there, talk, or whatever. Just don't talk about how you can teach people how to make money. That's it. Talk about whatever the fuck you want. If you're into art, talk about art. If you're into freaking music, talk about music. Talk about something different than just how I can sell you a course on how to be a coach, how I can sell you. If they have a tactical skill, that's totally different. That's totally different. I'm going to share with you a tactical skill that helps make money. It's the other thing is too, it's if you have a tactical skill that helps you make money, why the fuck don't you just do that more than just teaching people the fucking course? It's because the course probably makes more money. Otherwise, you'd be spending your time working on whatever the tactical fucking skill is for a while until you get sick of doing it. then you just go into the course. That's a better way to do it. So they just got sick of doing it, and then they wanted to go to the course. That's fine. But if all they're doing is like, oh, there's a way somebody could make money here, but I'm better at just marketing freaking course content. That's another thing. But hey, I give it up for you guys. You guys want to be entrepreneurs, or you guys are entrepreneurs. You put in your bio. You might not be established yet, but it's like, fuck, like you're doing some shit. Like you're taking the risk. You're going out there. You're doing some shit. It's like I give it up for you guys because it's so much more impressive to me somebody that puts entrepreneur in their bio and they make some money than some dude that's just gonna freaking troll on it, shit on it, tag other people, make fun of it. It's like, hey, at least you're doing something. At least you're making a step. Because all these people that are freaking sitting there laughing and enjoying it aren't happy with their lives. Well, at least all the 10 people that tagged me in that thing, they aren't happy with their lives. In fact, one of the dudes is a fucking bartender, and he's sitting there tagged me. I'm like, dude, you're a fucking bartender. Like I'm gonna give my power to him. Like I'm gonna let him dictate my feelings, dictate my emotional state. I'm gonna give him power. Bullshit. Like I mean, shit. Come on. That makes no sense, guys. Think about this shit. Who are the people you're giving your fucking power to? Get them out of your fucking life. That doesn't mean shit. These 10 people, I barely fucking know them. They don't know shit about my business. They don't know anything about what I do. And I don't put fucking entrepreneur in my bio. So anyway, if you guys see that video going around, fuck it, man. It's funny, laugh it up, whatever. People just need that, they need to feel significant. They need to be able to laugh at something. But all that is just a mask for their own lives. It just makes them feel better because they didn't put entrepreneur in their fucking bio. And they're just okay being normal. Because normal doesn't get made fun of. Normal doesn't get mocked. The closer you are to that equilibrium, the closer you are to average, you won't get fucking mocked. You'll be fine. So if you want to just be safe your whole fucking life, then go be safe. Then go be normal. Go be average. Go laugh with the comedians. Go make fun of those that are venturing out there. Go venture. Those that try to take a risk. Those that want to put entrepreneur in their bio. Those that want to talk about something. Go. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah. Just stay away from that. Go make fun of them. That's fine. Sit back on the sidelines and never get in the fucking game. Because that's what they do. They're the dudes that are just on the sidelines critiquing the quarterback, critiquing the freaking coach. They're the armchair fucking quarterbacks. That's what they are. They're the ones that are Monday. It's so easy to tell what you should have done on Sunday. And they can talk about it all fucking week. They never played a damn game in their life. They're never going to go in the game. These are the same people that other people, those are the same people that you're giving your power to. Fuck that. Don't give your power to these idiots. It's just a complete joke. Anyway, I wanted to talk to you guys about something too. It's about how to get free mentors. Okay, so I talked to you guys about coaching. All you guys listen to this shit. You know that I coach. I help people. And one of the reasons I would say that almost exclusively why people have been reaching out to me is because of accountability. So I can give you guys techniques and strategies in a handful of industries with some high-level ideas. I'm very good with strategy with people. If you want to get into the tactics of your industry or your business, I found that people almost always know exactly what they need to do, and they outwardly know it, and they tell me they know it, and they give me all the things it takes to know it, or they know exactly where to get all the information. Let me give you a hint. Google has all of the fucking information out there. Everything in the world exists in the internet. It's like, I just don't know how to do this. I just don't know how to do it. It's like, Google that shit, guys. Google it. Do I need to teach a course on how to Google shit? I mean, come on, guys. You know how to do all this stuff. It's like, well, I'm an entrepreneur. I don't know where to start. Google it. It's like, well, I have this really cool business idea. I don't know where. Google it. Well, I really want to get into real estate. I don't know. Google it. Just Google this shit. Rachel Hollis wrote a whole book on this shit, guys. About how she just she didn't need anything. She just had Google free freaking information everywhere. So go Google that shit. And I found out that a lot of people that were working with me had access to all the information that they need. They know everything they need. And they told me everything they need. And I'm just like, okay. And then as I was kind of early in my coaching career, I'm like, well, what the hell am I really here for? Then they know everything they need. What good am I? And then I just it just clicked to me and hit me like a strike of lightning. It's like, they want me to just kick their ass and make them fucking stick with it. And it was just I'm telling you, I was like, oh, it's I couldn't believe it. It was just, they just want me to kick their ass. They literally just want me to kick their ass. And I guess it's the same as with, I know how to do all the I know how to do everything in the gym, every workout. I was a college athlete. I freaking lifted weights since I was freaking 9 years old. I know how to do pretty much every workout. I know how to Google workouts. I know how to YouTube workouts. I know how to go to bodybuilding.com to get a free program. I know how to do all that shit. So why would I work with a personal trainer? Why would I work with a fitness coach? Why would I do that? Well, because they push you the extra reps, because they make you stick with it, because they check in with you, because they hold you accountable, and that was it. I was able to hold these people accountable to sticking with their own goals. And I was able to kick their ass and make them follow through, and give them the pick me up, and give them the pull me down, and all those types of things that they needed to make sure that they were following through with action, that they were sticking with it. I was giving them the push when they weren't ready for it. And I was slowing them down when they were going too fast. I was standing them up when they needed help. That was what my role became. And that was my sweet spot. And now people hire me exclusively almost for accountability. It's like, how the fuck can you just keep me here and make me stick to this freaking goal? I know exactly what I need to do. I know 100% what I need to do. I just need to stick with this shit. I need to stick with it hard. So that's why people reached out to me. And it was so hard for, like, I'm going to talk to you guys in a minute here about the free mentors, but that was just so difficult for me to find someone in my life that would keep me with that. So I'll tell you about all the free mentors, but that was something that mentors couldn't quite do, because mentors are usually people significantly beyond your level of whatever business acumen, financial acumen, relationship acumen, whatever you want to call it. They're beyond where you are, and that's why they have insight. But they're also not exclusively dedicating their time, to you, right? In fact, most of my mentors are kind of hard to get a hold of, but they give me great information, and they really help me out when I need it. But like I said, they're not calling me every morning waking me up. Because I'll tell you what, guys, I had a client that I called every I didn't call, I texted every fucking morning, 5:30 in the morning, to get his ass up and start working on his dream. And that's what he wanted me to do. That's how I was able to serve him. I'm not shitting you, guys. I woke up a grown-ass man who's older than me every morning at 5:30 say, let's get to work on your fucking dreams. Here we go. He's like, hell yeah, thanks, AJ. I need that shit every fucking morning for over a year. And now he just wakes up on his own. Thank God. Thank God, right? So here's what you do, guys. Here's something. Here's a way that at least I got free mentors. I got some pretty cool people in my life. One of them is one of the things, I got some good advice a while ago, and it said sometimes all the networking you need to do is already in your network. Like, you guys are all, I do this too, it's not just you guys, it's definitely everybody, right? You're constantly looking out, you're like, oh, I need to get this connection, this connection, this connection, this connection. It's like, you have so many valuable connections in your network already. So if you're on LinkedIn, or if you're on Facebook, if you're on Instagram, or whatever you use as your networking tool, shit, some people use fucking Tinder as their networking tool. I don't care what it is. Whatever that is, look at the people you're already connected with and start building relationships with them. It's not so much about finding new people as it is about building deep, meaningful connections with others. Okay? So that's what I would suggest to do first, is figure out what is your immediate circle and how do you connect with those people. What I did was, one of my mentors was, you got to start to figure out how do you find them where they're at, right? So finding a mentor is the hard part. So you guys that know me, I do a lot of marketing consulting with people, and I can't believe how many people don't do this. But anyway, we talk about building out your ideal client or your ideal customer, depending on what your product or service is. Who is your ideal client? Who are you selling your solution to? So who's the person? What do they look like? What's their problem? That's the first couple of questions. So what you do when you're going through that exercise, a lot of times you'll start to put this this demographic together. You'll start to figure out the location, where they hang out, what they're doing, because you're essentially trying to figure out ways of interrupting their daily routine or their attention with your marketing content. That's essentially what building out your ideal client base is doing. It's trying to figure out what's the customer's journey so that you can interrupt them on their journey. So I just started doing that with my mentors. I was like, okay, who is this person that I'm looking for? And I knew that I wanted a mentor in real estate, right? I needed someone, not, and I found some of the, I won't call it, I'll call it residential real estate investors. Found them quite easy to find mentorship because a lot of times there's local RIAs. So I'm part of this group called Wisco RIA in Wisconsin. It's run by my friend Jason Lund. He's an awesome guy. He runs Wisco RIAs all over the state. He's had me speak to the groups multiple times, and that's a great networking community that's very available to people. And you can find free mentorship there. You can pay for some more detailed stuff. They don't sell you on shit. You can get free mentors in that group. Now, they do a lot of mostly residential real estate investing. So they'll do your multifamilies, they'll do your flips, your wholesaling, kind of those types of things, right? I wanted to find someone that was doing more development stuff, like big commercial projects. I'm like, how do I, this is, the same concepts in real estate apply. It's just you got to add a couple of zeros to it. So I was like, how do I find that person that's kind of like a real big time investor? So, on one hand, I reached out to like I said, everybody's already in your network or whatever. I found that the West Point community has a really awesome, tight-knit group of investors in real estate. And we started building out a West Point, it's called the USMA Real Estate Network on Facebook. And it's just a group. And I'm one of the admins of the group, and it's just, among several other guys. And there's like a couple thousand people of just awesome real estate investors. So there's a couple people organized a seminar out in Colorado that I'll be speaking at, and that's just a great system. All those guys, like, I don't know, 50% or more of them know more about real estate than me. I mean, these guys are incredible. They built massive fortunes, developing massive projects. They're just awesome dudes. So they're already in your network, right? That was one avenue. The second one, back to this ideal client. What is this person? Who is this? So I started just looking at big buildings in town. And I was just kind of like, okay, who's the owner of this thing? And that's where I started to figure out, just in my local area, you guys can do this anywhere you're at, just who's the owner of this building? And I would find out that, like, this town is kind of like Game of Thrones. Oshkosh is kind of like Game of Thrones. Like 5 families that kind of control all the real estate, and they're kind of like married into each other. It's just the funniest thing. But it's, you start to figure out kind of who the players were, right? Who the big players were in the game. And you start to, I kind of narrow it down to families, and then I started to figure out who were the people that kind of did stuff. And it wasn't that I was just like kind of creeping on this. I was just trying to get a lay of the land and figure out, like, if I'm going to be investing with these folks in the future, like, I want to get to know them, meet them. It's not like I'm just, status seeking or anything. I was like, how do I just find the big boys? I want to find out who the real investors are in this area so I can start to learn shit and become one of them, right? And that's what kind of narrowed it down. So like I said, there got to be like 5 or 6 families that were pretty prominent investors in the area. I started to figure out what buildings they had. Then I started to find out what buildings they were selling. So I would meet up with them and I would tell them, I'm interested in maybe purchasing this building, like, here's a couple concepts or whatever. And when I started doing that, we started to have conversations and lunch, and they hear about my background. We just being a good dude and being listening, interested in their stories. You started to build that mentorship. And they're like, hey, you might not want this building, but I'll teach you how you can really run this thing or how you can do this. And, I found, 2 really cool mentors that I have doing that. They're local to this area. They're great, big freaking time real estate investors, by the way. I mean, one of them owns an island, a ski resort. Another one owns, like, half the damn state. They're just really cool people, and they're just really awesome people to have in your life, but they're very busy, right? So they don't always have that time for you. But if I have any question on real estate, wealth building, is this a good idea? I have a network of people. I have 2 people I can go back to and I can talk to, right? And that was just a tool, free mentor. I've heard people finding Ty Lopez talks about how he found the biggest ad he put in a phone book back in the day when people still had phone books, those big yellow and white page things. Yeah, I'm a 90s baby. I remember that shit. Maybe some 2000s folks won't remember that. But that was what he did. He found a big ad, and figured out how he could ask that person to be a mentor. Find attorneys or you want to find people that are doing what you want to do. In my case, I want to find people that knew real estate to do what I want to do. If you're looking for a mentor in a health business, I would find a gigantic health club that looks like something you would want to build someday. I would go in there and say, who's the owner of this place? You'd be surprised how easy these people are to get a hold of. And sometimes they don't want to mentor you, but for the most part, they want to mentor you guys. That's part of human nature, is that givingness, right? People want to be experts. They want to feel like experts, which is why all these fuckers are talking about coaches making money with courses and all this. Right? You want to feel like an expert, but a lot of times these people that are experts are very generous and very giving with their time. So that was one technique that I wanted to, or I guess that's two techniques that were kind of on my list of what I wanted to provide you guys of how you can find free mentors. Figure out your ideal client. What are they doing? Are they golfers? Where are they going to act? There was another mentor of mine in real estate, and he was a broker, and he just had signs everywhere around the freaking area. And I was just like, I got to go talk to this guy. Because the dude had signs on everything. He was a real estate or commercial real estate broker. Every building had a freaking sign on it. So I was like, I called him up, like, hey, can I just talk to you about some stuff? And we had a conversation, and to this day, he's in my network. People I can talk to about deals or anything, right? So you just kind of build up that network, and then you got to make sure that your network is also, it's like a garden, right? You want to nurture your network. It's not just about planting the next thing. It's about watering it and taking care of it, reaching back out to people. Every 6 months or so, I go back through my phone and I just reach out to people. I'll send them texts or emails or just, hey, how's it going? Just seeing if everything's good. Just checking in and give them an update on the family, give them an update on Marissa, what we've been up to. Now most of them all follow me on social media. The whole fucking world knows what I'm doing, so it's not that hard. But, I'll still make a point to reach out to people and stay connected. Your network is a garden. You want to nurture that shit. And I would say 80% of your time should be spent nurturing your garden today instead of just trying to grow your garden. You're going to want to grow your network. You're going to want to find those people. I had to reach out to a bunch of marketing people that were a whole bunch of in the weed stuff on lead conversions and stuff like that. So I was like, I got to go find this person. They're not currently in my network. But that most of the time you'll find that you'll know somebody that at least knows somebody, or you'll be able to get that word of mouth referral. So water your freaking garden. Take care of your garden, nurture it, nurture your network, okay? Because you probably have a lot of people in your life that already know this kind of stuff, and that's very, very important. So find out what you want to do, find out what these people are doing, and then number two, find out what's already in your network, what's already available. You're going to be very surprised at how quickly you can find people without having to pay them, without having to freaking have them teach you a damn course on how to do this shit. You can just find free mentors that way. And the second thing is, mentors are going to stop paying attention. They're going to stop taking you seriously if you don't get into action. Okay, so I think the most impressive thing, especially when people reach out to me and they want some type of mentorship, I'll give them some advice, and if they don't go do it, it's just kind of like, what the fuck, dude? But when they start doing it, it makes me way more invested into wanting to keep supporting them with the next step and the next step and the next step. And all these mentors that I work with are the same. It's like, I remember this one guy I had this conversation with. I was like, okay, so development, what's the business model for development, for real estate development? And he's just like, well, I know our business model is we'll normally reach out to a bunch of brokers that have a whole list of companies that they need to develop sites for, so like a Chipotle or a Starbucks. And then what we'll do is we'll make good relationships with them, and Starbucks will say, yeah, we want one on the corner of Main and Adams and freaking 9th Street. And you'll be like, okay, cool. So you go find a property on Main and 9th Street, you put it under contract, you go back to Starbucks, and you say, hey, we got a property where this one works, it meets all their specifications. They say, yeah, cool. So you buy the property, boom, boom, boom. And he lays out that whole framework for me. I'm just sitting there like, okay, cool, got the framework, nice. So then I go and do the same thing. And I started putting all these architecture plans together and everything else. And I go back to this guy probably a month and a half later. He's like, oh shit, you're not messing around, man. I'm like, hell no, dude. I get into freaking action. He's like, okay, well, here's what you do next. And I'm like, it's just right there. These people are right there, but you got to get into action, because I came to him with plans for a 4-story freaking office building. And I was just like, he's like, yeah, this is good. This is what you got to do. This is what's next. Took it to another mentor, and he's like, yeah, this is good. That's not going to make money though. You're probably, you might make money, but it's a lot of risk. I probably wouldn't do it. I'd bag the whole project. And I was like, fuck, sick. So I just spent freaking $35,000 in freaking architectural fees. And here I am taking a shit on it. But hey, it's better than $500,000, right? And those are the types of things that you want to think about. You want to get into action so you can get the advice from these people. Because those are two legitimate pieces of advice that I was getting from people. One of them literally told me to bag a multi-million-dollar project because it was probably going to fuck over your investors. That saved me a lot of problems. That saved me a lot of problems. Can you imagine if I would have gone to investors, had to deal with that whole thing, losing money, losing my own money, going with the bank. Gosh, dude, thank God. That's the power of mentorship. That's the power of having those people in your corner. But you're not going to find them. You're not going to really be able to use them. Even if you do find them, you're not going to be able to use them until you get into action. Have legitimate advice, like good questions. And the only way you're going to get good questions is if you start trying shit out and run into legitimate roadblocks, because your roadblocks are like nothing to them. They all just, oh yeah, that's really easy. We'll just hop right over that. That's pretty fucking easy. Oh yeah, that's really easy. We'll just hop right over that. I'm telling you guys, this stuff is gold. So that's how you can start the process of finding free mentors in your life. And if you don't think that there's value in mentors, well, then get off the podcast. What do you listen to me for? This is just a forum of mentorship for you guys. It's free. I don't charge shit for my podcast. You just have to hear me talk about how epic Personal Growth Ventures is going to be for a little bit. But other than that, I don't charge people anything. It's just like, this is just advice for you guys so you can go out there and do what you need to do. I just talked to a guy who started his own business because he listened to my podcast and got inspired from it. Like, what if that business just explodes and becomes huge? It's like, holy shit, I was part of that. I was helping him water the seed or water the plant, man. Like, that's sick to know that you have that kind of influence and ability to help people like that. So there's so many things you can do in this world when you just have the support and the network of people around you. You want to have somebody to keep you accountable. You want to have somebody to give you the tactics. And you also want to have somebody to keep your head on straight. Those are the three things you really want in a mentor. Somebody to keep you accountable, somebody to give you the tactics, and somebody to help you keep your head on straight. Because if you have all those types of things, you should be pretty much set, because you want a mentor in different areas of your life. You're going to want mentors for your ethics. You're going to want mentors for your relationship. You're going to want mentors for your health. Like some of the mentors I've talked to that know a shitload about real estate don't know shit about holding a marriage down. And some of the people I know about holding a marriage down don't know shit about making money. These are the same types. You want to be able to have different people you can bounce opinions off of. So if I'm one of those opinions, that's awesome. But I encourage you guys to go find as many as you can. Keep your head out there on a swivel and look for all the different opportunities you have in your life to find new perspective and meaning in your life. And that's really what it's all about. So that's how to get a free mentor. If you guys want a paid mentor, you can always reach out to me. But one of the things that I wanted to just wrap this up with to share with you guys is the power of indulging yourself into circumstances of positivity. Basically, why I believe going to events. So I was talking to my client, I think on Friday, and he was talking to me about how he can't get his wife on board with the personal growth and development kind of atmosphere. She's like super extroverted. She doesn't like to read. She doesn't like to sit down, and she doesn't like to listen to podcasts, that kind of thing. And I said, usually with an extrovert, there's two strategies that you do. Number one is you start surrounding yourself with extremely positive, inspiring people. They can be mentors. They can just be friends going up on your journey with you, or they can be people that you're helping less significant than you, or less fortunate than you. That's that law of 33% that Ty Lopez talks about, right? He talks about the mentors are the top 33. The middle 33 are the people you're riding up there with. The bottom 33 are the people you're supporting and trying to help. You can surround yourself with more of the people in that top 33 and middle 33 if you're trying to get them involved in personal growth development. Look at your friends. Take what I call an energy audit. What are you spending your time doing, and who are you spending your time with? And you can start to figure out very quickly that the same 5 people aren't necessarily the same 5 people you want to be with. And so that's one way. The second is events. And you guys know, it's not just because I run events, but I go to them because I love them. Because what it does is it creates first of all, it steps you get out of your routine. So you're like not just in your normal mundane crap, and it allows you to think differently. Sometimes you don't need to know exactly what to do. You just need to know, you just got to do something different. Tom Hanks said some of the best advice he ever gets from directors is when they don't tell him what to do. They just say, just do something different. And that's what can really elicit the best performance in them. I just think it's the same thing. It's just do something a little bit different. So I like to go to events because you get the camaraderie of being around people that support you and are like-minded. And you also get the experience of it. And then you get to be like, you completely immerse yourself in the experience. You can finally give that up and just be present, right? And then you can think differently. And that's what I would recommend to some of you guys too. Is like, just get out there, go to an event. It doesn't have to be mine, but if you want to come to my event, yeah, we're going to have an awesome fucking retreat coming up here in May of 2020. And it's going to be a small group of people, so we can build that relationship. So we can just tighten down the network. I want to go deep. I don't want to do this shallow shit. I don't want to keep spreading the garden thin. I want to nurture our own garden. I want to build relationships deep with people so we can start to get through all the bullshit and start to really figure out what are those roadblocks coming up in your life. So if you guys want to experience something new and something unique, go to personalgrowthventures.com. There'll be a link in the show notes if you want to hear more about it. You can also reach out to me directly. I am a small business. It's not that difficult for me to manage the incoming traffic of emails. So you can go to info@aaronjarmstrong.com. My assistant will help filter out the ones that you guys want to meet with me directly on and talk about. So you can always answer any questions you guys have. Reach out to me, info@aaronjarmstrong.com, or you can go to my Instagram account, AaronArmstrong33, and you guys know that I always respond to my DMs. It's very important to me that I make sure I'm getting back to you guys when you have questions. So with that said, guys, thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed today. If you want, we just started our Facebook group, Winners Wallets Worldview on Facebook. You can go on there, join. You can put a request in if you want to have a special guest on, if you think wants to come on. If you have any questions, you can put that on there as well. And then also, guys, you can go to personalgrowthventures.com to hear more about this retreat that we're going to be having in May of 2020. But that's about it, guys. So with that said, thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed the show.
What's up, everybody? This is your host, AJ Armstrong. You can follow me on Instagram at AaronArmstrong33. That's AaronArmstrong33, or you can go to my website, aaronjarmstrong.com. Thanks so much for listening through to the end. I wanted to also introduce you guys to our Facebook community. So you can go to Winners Wallets Worldviews on Facebook, and it's a group where we can offer, different opportunities for you guys to ask questions. If you have a Q&A or something in your business or a challenge in your life that you want to bring up, that's the community to ask it. And then I can also share that with all of our listeners on our social media platforms. The final thing I wanted to share with you guys, something that Marissa and I have been so excited for. It's been really chomping at me to freaking tell you guys. And it's our Personal Growth Ventures Retreat. So our Personal Growth Ventures Retreat is going to be located on the island of St. Lucia. It's going to be a business seminar combined with personal growth and development. And we're also adding in something nobody else has ever done in a seminar that I've heard of. And that's fitness and adventure. So these are the things that are going to help push us to our limits. It's going to help us break through our fears. And these adventures are going to be one of a kind. If you want to find out more about what our adventures entail, what's going to be involved in the education session, and where this is all going to be happening and when, you can go to our website, personalgrowthventures.com. That's personalgrowthventures.com. It's also going to be located in the show notes. So with that said, guys, thanks so much for listening through to the end. Once again, go be somebody.